You might think you're nurturing your beloved backyard oasis, carefully tending to those delicate petunias or robust heirloom tomatoes. But the shocking truth, for countless home gardeners across America, is that you're probably committing slow-motion horticultural homicide. That green thumb you pride yourself on? It could be unknowingly dealing a fatal blow to your prize-winning hydrangeas or those promising pepper plants, right at this very moment, and you wouldn't even realize it until it's far too late, causing irreversible damage. This isn't about malicious intent or neglect. It's far more insidious. The practices you've adopted, perhaps learned from well-meaning neighbors or outdated online forums from 2005, are often the very culprits. You're following advice that seems logical, sprinkling what you believe to be life-giving nutrients, completely unaware that each granule could be contributing to their slow decline. This widespread misunderstanding is costing gardeners millions in lost plants and wasted effort every single year. And the worst part is, you don't even know it. Walk into any garden center, scroll through any gardening Facebook group, or pick up almost any old gardening book from the 1970s, and you'll find them, these pervasive, deeply ingrained falsehoods. We're talking about 6 insidious fertilizer myths that have taken root in the collective gardening consciousness, spreading like weeds themselves. They're not just harmless misconceptions, they're profoundly damaging, leading to stunted growth, withered leaves, and ultimately a premature end for your cherished plants. They're not just problematic, they're deadly. Let's start with the most common and perhaps the most destructive fallacy that permeates gardening culture, especially among enthusiastic beginners hoping for quick results. It's the kind of thinking that leads to impulse buys of shiny new products and overzealous applications, driven by a simple yet profoundly mistaken assumption. Myth number 1, more is always better. It's an understandable assumption, really. We see a plant looking a little sad, maybe a bit pale, and our first instinct is often to give it a boost, a superdose of what we think it needs. People think dumping on extra fertilizer, whether it's a granular October 10th 10 or a liquid feed, means bigger plants, faster growth, and an explosion of blooms by next week. They imagine their roses doubling in size overnight, or their zucchini producing record harvests. But that's where the catastrophic misunderstanding lies. This isn't a simple equation where input equals proportional output. Wrong. It's like force-feeding your garden until it gets sick, much like giving a starving person too much rich food too quickly after a long fast. You might think you're providing a feast for your prized tomatoes, but you're actually inducing a severe, potentially fatal digestive upset that leaves the plant struggling for survival rather than thriving. What happens inside the plant when you overdo it? This overload causes fertilizer burn, a catastrophic chemical reaction where the high concentration of salts in the fertilizer draws water directly out of the plant's delicate root cells through osmosis, essentially dehydrating them from the inside out. It's an agonizing process, scorching the roots, turning them crispy and brown, rendering them incapable of absorbing the very water and nutrients they desperately need to live. The visual cues are stark and often misinterpreted as simple drought or a common disease. You'll notice the delicate green foliage of your hydrangeas or tomatoes, once vibrant, starting to show clear signs of distress. The leaves turn yellow and brown at the edges, often crisping up, sometimes even developing black spots. It's a telltale sign of cellular damage, a desperate cry for help from a plant that's being poisoned by kindness. Imagine a human body overloaded with medication. The results are eerily similar in your garden. The plant literally dies of a nutrient overdose. Its internal systems shut down, unable to process the toxic levels of minerals. The roots, its lifeline to the soil, become damaged beyond repair, leading to total systemic failure, even if there's plenty of water available in the surrounding soil. It's a slow, agonizing demise you could have easily prevented. So, before you grab that bag of Miracle Grow or fish emulsion with the best of intentions, take a moment to rethink your entire approach. What's the fix? It's incredibly simple, yet often overlooked by even seasoned gardeners. Every single time, read the label. Every bag, every bottle of fertilizer comes with precise, scientifically determined instructions for a very good reason. These aren't just suggestions from the manufacturer. They are carefully calculated guidelines based on the chemical composition of the product and the typical needs of plants. Ignoring them is like ignoring the dosage on a prescription medicine. You're risking severe, often irreversible consequences for your garden's health, purely out of oversight or impatience. Now, let's move on to another pervasive myth that promises convenience but almost always delivers profound disappointment. This one tricks gardeners into thinking they can simplify their routine, often at the expense of their plant's highly specific requirements. Myth number 2, all-purpose fertilizer works for everything. On the surface, it makes perfect sense, especially for busy individuals or those new to gardening trying to save time. It sounds so easy, right? One bag to rule them all, a single solution for every green thing in your yard, from your sprawling rose bushes to your delicate herb garden. The marketing often reinforces this idea, suggesting a universal panacea for all plant woes. But dig a little deeper, and the flaws in this one-size-fits-all approach become glaringly obvious. Just like different people have different dietary needs, your tomatoes have vastly different needs than your roses. A rapidly fruiting tomato plant demands more phosphorus for bloom and fruit development, while a lush green lawn craves nitrogen for foliage. Applying a generic mix is like feeding a marathon runner the same diet as a bodybuilder. It just doesn't quite fit their specific energy and nutrient requirements. Tomato versus rose. Consider a common scenario. You apply an all-purpose October 10th 10 mix to your vegetable patch. While some plants might tolerate it for a while, an all-purpose mix might give your lettuce too much nitrogen, especially if it's already present in your soil. This excess nitrogen, while great for leafy greens in moderation, can lead to an overabundance of soft, fragile foliage, causing weak, spindly growth instead of a full head of crisp, robust leaves. And the problem extends beyond just one plant. When you consistently apply an imbalanced fertilizer year after year to a diverse range of plants with varying needs, it's creating a major nutrient imbalance in your precious garden soil. You're essentially flooding the system with too much of one thing, like nitrogen, while inadvertently starving it of another, throwing the entire delicate ecosystem out of whack. This isn't a temporary issue that washes away with the next rain. This persistent imbalance, built up over seasons, can lock out other essential minerals for years. For instance, excess phosphorus can make vital micronutrients like zinc and iron unavailable to plants, even if those elements are present in the soil. Your plants literally can't access them, leading to long-term deficiencies and chronic health problems that are incredibly difficult to reverse. So, how do you escape this frustrating cycle of guesswork and potential harm to your plants? The solution is surprisingly affordable and incredibly insightful, providing you with a precise roadmap for your garden's exact nutritional needs. The solution? Get a cheap soil test. For a small investment, often less than the cost of a single bag of fertilizer, a soil test kit from your local university extension office or garden center can tell you exactly what your soil contains and, more importantly, precisely what it's lacking. Armed with this invaluable knowledge, you'll truly know what your garden actually needs to thrive, moving beyond generic assumptions to targeted, effective care. Once you have those precise results from your soil test, your approach to feeding your plants transforms from guesswork into a tailored scientific strategy. Then, remember this: feed the plant, not just the soil. This means choosing fertilizers specifically formulated for the particular needs of your tomatoes, roses, or lawn, addressing their unique nutritional demands rather than blanketing everything with a generic mix. Now, let's tackle a popular home remedy that sounds like a brilliant, free, and eco-friendly hack, but can actually do more harm than good to your precious plants. This myth circulates widely, often promoted by well-meaning but misinformed enthusiasts. Myth 3: coffee grounds are a super fertilizer. You've probably seen the posts in your social media feeds, maybe even tried it yourself. This one is all over the internet, from gardening blogs to social media groups, with countless anecdotes praising its supposed benefits for everything from roses to blueberries. It's presented as a magical, readily available, and completely free elixir for your plants. And honestly, the appeal is undeniable. It sounds great. Free fertilizer from your morning brew, a sustainable way to repurpose kitchen waste and give your plants a natural boost. Who wouldn't want to turn their daily coffee habit into a secret weapon for a lush, vibrant garden, saving money on expensive amendments and helping the environment at the same time? However, the reality of applying fresh coffee grounds directly to your delicate garden beds is far from beneficial. In fact, it's a recipe for disaster. But dumping fresh grounds directly on your soil is a huge mistake, one that can severely stress your plants, causing yellowing leaves and setting back their growth for weeks or even months. The fundamental reason lies in their chemical composition. Fresh coffee grounds are highly acidic, with a pH typically ranging between 4.9 and 5.2. While some acid-loving plants like blueberries or azaleas might tolerate a tiny, infrequent application, for most garden vegetables and flowers, this sudden pH drop can shock your plants, causing nutrient lockout and even outright death by altering the soil chemistry too drastically. Beyond the acidity, there's another hidden, equally problematic issue with direct application. Plus, they need to decompose to release nutrients, primarily nitrogen. This decomposition is a biological process carried out by hungry soil microbes, and these microbes require nitrogen themselves to break down the carbon-rich coffee grounds. This means, temporarily, the decomposition process actually steals nitrogen directly from your soil, making it unavailable to your plants when they need it most for healthy growth. So does this mean you should ditch those coffee grounds entirely, consigning them to the trash forever? Absolutely not. There's a smart, effective way to harness their benefits without ever harming your plants. The right way, the truly beneficial way, add them to your compost pile first. By adding them to your compost, you allow the natural decomposition process to occur in a controlled, aerobic environment. Let them break down and mellow out over weeks or months. This neutralizes their acidity, breaks down the compounds that could inhibit plant growth, and transforms them into a stable, nutrient-rich soil amendment that your plants can actually benefit from without any of the drawbacks.